Turnkey rental properties. If, as an investor, turnkeys are anywhere on your radar, whether you're interested in them or curious, maybe you're specifically pursuing them, or maybe you've already bought some and you're thinking of buying more. Before you go any further, I need you to adopt a mindset shift. I'm going to beg you to adopt a mindset shift about turnkeys. So in this video, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you what the perception about turnkeys is. I'm going to tell you what the truth about turnkeys is. And then I'm going to tell you what you should do about it. Ready? If turnkeys are on your radar, hit that like button because I do want to know how many people are hearing this message. It's an important one. Okay, let's dive in. What is the perception about turnkeys? The perception is that they're hands-off and everything is flawlessly done for you. That word flawlessly is very important because we all know everything's done for you, but the flawlessly part is what really comes into play here. So people think when they pursue a turnkey rental property that they can just kick back, no problem, don't do any work, everything's done for you, and it's all done perfectly. Spoiler alert, it's not true. So what is the truth about turnkey rental properties? Number one, they're not 100% hands-off. They are about as hands-off as you can get as a rental property. However, you have got to keep your head in the game and do due diligence. You need to be prepared to participate in your turnkey rental property buying experience and the ownership of your property. And the further truth about that, the reason that you need to be involved is that flawlessly thing is not accurate. I always say as long as there's humans in the equation, there's going to be errors. And the idea with turnkeys is that these people, they're going to try their hardest. They're not perfect. They're not going to do everything perfect. And where you come into play is you're playing a role in ensuring that you're getting what's advertised. That's the truth. They're not perfect. They're not flawless, and you need to be involved. Now, what should you do about this? It's easy. Reset your expectations. Because when you go in with the expectation of everything's done for you and everything is going to be done flawlessly, two major things happen. Number one, you don't keep your head in the game and something goes wrong and you're in reactivity mode instead of proactivity. And when you're an investor, you don't want to be in reactivity mode. It can cost you a lot of money. You want to be proactive and stay on top of everything going on. And then what also happens is when something proves to not be flawless, maybe there's something that comes up in the inspection report, or there's a hitch with the appraisal, or the tenants aren't getting placed quickly enough, or whatever may happen, you just assume you're getting scammed, or, what am I buying? The quality of this provider and this property it's a sham. And you go into this mindset spiral, if you will, because you expected it to be flawless. And when it's not, it sends off all your little red flags and, radar and everything else. Reset your expectations. Turnkeys are not flawless, and you need to be involved. And when you can go in with that perception, number one, it's going to prompt you to be more involved because you're going to assume it's not flawless. So you want to make sure you're watching. And you're going to keep an eye on things and be proactive should something come up. But also, when things don't work out perfectly, you're not going to just go to this place in your head that says you're scammed. It's a useless place to go to. It's not helpful. And more times than not, it's going to cause you to not get what might have been a perfectly good property. Reset your expectations. Think about it this way. The expectation, the perception that people have about turnkeys, think of it like 100 to 0. The turnkey provider is doing 100, you get to contribute 0. It's 100 to 0. Now, I'm not going to take it to 50-50. That would require way more work. Think about it more like 60-40 or 70-30. Let's go with 70-30. The provider is responsible for 70% of the stuff. You are responsible for 30%. In that case, the due diligence, staying on top of things, ensuring that everything's flowing like it should, while that 60 or 70% that they're working on is the hard stuff. It's the rehabbing, negotiating, identifying the property. Let them do all that. So it's not 100 to 0. Think of it as 70-30. You need to put in that 30%. Now look at it this way. You are not getting everything handed to you. You're not exchanging all the work for 0 work. You're exchanging the hard work, the rehabbing, negotiating, all that stuff for a simpler work. Your job now is to manage the managers, manage the process, keep an eye on things, oversee things. Now, there's a big difference into how much work is required for both of those things. So you are way more hands-off with turnkeys, but you're not all the way hands-off. I hope all of this is making sense, because this is an incredibly important message, because I see this misperception of the hands-off and the flawless part literally destroying people's investments in terms of they're dropping out too soon, they're missing out on perfectly good properties, they're stressing, they're losing sleep at night, all because their expectation about turnkeys is incorrect. Now, I'm going to link to 2 videos below to kind of further talk about this and to further really drive this home. One is what I call a public service announcement for turnkeys, and the other video is called The Truth About Turnkeys. And that one dives into a few more things than what I've talked about here, but it's still along the same lines, and it does bring up this issue of turnkeys aren't perfect. So, parting words: stop assuming turnkeys are perfect, and use that new assumption that they're not perfect to prompt you to better participate in the process. And when something comes up not as perfect, just know that that's normal. Now, you can go buy a turnkey easier and with more sanity and with less stress. You are welcome, my friend.